Hello readers, I'm Amy and I'm your nonfiction feminist. Today I am bringing yet another book tag to my channel. Can't get enough of these. I will be doing books I will probably never read. Not to say that I won't ever read them, but it's just not very likely for one reason or another, which I will explain according to whatever book I'm talking about. So let's just go ahead and get this started with a really hyped book that I am just not interested in reading. That would be Stephen King's The Stand. I wasn't really even into dystopias in general until about a year ago whenever I started reading a lot of feminist dystopias. I found it was my niche in the genre. This one looks like it's another dystopia based on a disease, and it looks like it might go into some sort of zombie type thing. Just not a storyline that I'm super interested in. And I am very, very intimidated by very, very large books. And this mass market paperback copy is, wait, I just passed it, 1,439 pages. I will read some big books. The Woman in White was like a 600-page book. I've done a couple of 1,000-pagers, but it's not the bulk of what I read. I should do more big books, but The Stand will just probably not be one of them. I hear a bunch of good things. I have no doubt that it's an excellent book, but I'm just not super interested in the storyline, and that's okay. Next up, a series that I won't start or be finishing. I will probably do an entire video on series that I'm not going to be finishing. Dark Tower. But yeah. As for books that I won't be starting, or series that I won't be starting, Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I actually really enjoyed the movie. I don't know how that makes people feel, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny. I started the book because the movie got me really interested in the book, but it's kind of one of those absurdist things where it feels like Dr. Seuss for adults, where there's a bunch of stuff in here that you have no idea what it means and you have no idea what they're talking about, and that just gets really confusing for me. It's like being humorous by talking about complete nonsense, and I'm sure eventually this comes together and makes some sort of sense, but in trying to get through the first chapter and just everything being completely wackadoodle, I guess is the only word that I could use to describe this, I just don't see it being a series that I'm going to start. It is my husband's book, which is why it's going to stay on the shelves anyways, and I do love this cover, but it's just not going to happen for me. Third question is a classic that I am just not interested in. That would be Leamas. I'm not going to try and say this whole thing because I'm going to fail. I was awful at French. Leamas, I will read some sad ending books, but I don't go out of my way to read entire books of sadness, and this sounds like one big book of sadness. The movie was really depressing. It was, I think that the movie was very, very well done. I loved it. I haven't heard great things about it, but I loved it anyways, and the movie was enough for me. This is 800 pages of sadness, and I don't want to. Say what you will about that. I'm going to skip to question 5 and go back to question 4, because for question 4 I have a ton of books, and I just want to deal with that at the end. So question 5 is a book on my shelves that I will probably never actually read, and for that I wrote it down, The Physical Phenomena of Mysticism by Herbert Thurston. I don't have this book with me because I have a friend who's borrowing right now because she actually was really interested in reading it, so good for her. This is one of those fancy hardcovers with gold words on the spine. and it's called The Physical Phenomena of Mysticism, and that just sounds really cool, so I wanted to have it to display on my shelves. And I had her send me pictures of the chapter titles. This includes topics like levitation, stigmata, telekinesis, bodily elongation, human salamanders, blood prodigies, just all sorts of funky chapter headings and topics and stuff. So it looks like a really cool book, but it's one of those more like research reference type books, so I'm probably not ever going to get around to reading it. Not to say that I won't pick it up every now and then and look something up that looks cool, but it's one of those books. Yeah, I got it for free from the Friends of the Library because they weren't going to hold on to it. They were just going to give it away. So it's like, well, I might as well take it because this looks really cool. I don't really know what it's about. In looking over it, it looks like it's supposed to be kind of a breakdown of Catholic miracles or something. I don't know. But it looks cool. It's got really interesting chapter titles and discussions, so it's going to stick around on my shelves. But I doubt that I'm going to sit down and ever read it cover to cover. So, back to question number 4, genres that I've never read or will probably never read. I think I've read at least one book from just about every genre except Western, which I don't have any Westerns. It's just not... I don't care about cowboys whatsoever. But I don't really want to talk about that because I don't have books for it, and that is all I have to say on it, so it's not very interesting. So for that question, I'm going to go with reference books, which is not to say that I've never read a reference book, because I did read this giant one, The Guide to Getting It On, because I was super into sex ed in college. I thought it was awesome. Did some sex education kind of classes of my own. So I did read this reference book, but I also have The Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets that I actually did start to sit down and read through this once, and then I stopped a couple of pages in. I've got some psychology books that I got for free that the psychology department was giving away that just looked like something that I should have. You have Half the Human Experience, The Psychology of Women, and Psychology and the Problems of Today. This has funky colors. They have titles that make me feel smarter. So, yeah, I will never read Westerns. But again, I thought reference books were a slightly more interesting topic for this video. So, this video is super short, but that's fine. I've got a lot going on. I needed something super simple, so there you go. If you're interested in doing the tag, do the tag. Books that you will probably never read. Or if you don't want to do a whole video, chat with me down below. I'd love to hear about books that you're just not going to read, because I find stuff like that interesting. Like, subscribe, be my friend on all of the social media stuff down below, and I will see you in the next video.